With Torr Metals, really what we're focused on is early stage copper gold exploration. With our projects, what we try and maintain is really 100% ownership. And with that, as we move into it, I'll talk about forward-looking statements. So just the comparisons that are going to be made, those are looking at geological comparisons, not necessarily indicative of the endowment on the Colas project, which is our flagship project. So we've got 3 large-scale copper-gold projects, 2 in British Columbia, 1 orogenic gold project in Northern Ontario. So these projects, for the most part, are 100% owned, and that's because they were developed in-house conceptually and staked by myself with the support of John Williamson, who's the chairman and co-founder of Torr Metals as well. Outside of that, the only thing that we have optioned is the Bertha property. So that's adjacent to our Colas project in southern BC, so 57 square kilometers to that one. The option is for full ownership. With that, we've spent the last 2 years really working away on the Colas project. It's a 2.5-hour drive outside of Vancouver, just between Merritt and Kamloops. So for any of those who are a little more local, familiar with the Coquihalla Highway, if you're driving along that highway and looking off to the side of it, you have probably driven through the Colas project at some point. Really, we acquired it through staking in late 2023. Spent the last couple of years doing large-scale geochemical, geophysical surveys, really establishing 4 copper-gold porphyry targets that have never been drilled. So very excited that, as Robert mentioned, we're moving up to that first inaugural drill program, which is going to be taking place this October. And with that, accessibility is key. So we make sure that with all the projects, we don't have exploration camps. We operate out of nearby towns and cities. Allows us to be more efficient with capital, put more capital into the ground. Also allows for year-round operation potential. So we operate out of the city of Kamloops, 80% of which really is directly or indirectly employed with the local mining activities. And we also try and keep the majors as neighbors. So you're going to recognize a lot of big names. We are in really the premier copper production district of British Columbia. This is just looking at the management. So in addition to myself, there's the founder of the Mills Group of companies, John Williamson. We've had a number of more recent successes coming out of the same stable, acquiring projects, putting them into companies such as Benchmark Metals, Thesis Gold. Some of those you guys would be familiar with. But we also have Gordon Maxwell on the board. Gordon has spent 40 years working for Noranda, Xstrata, Glencore. Then I brought him onto the board to advise for Torr Metals as well. So he also brings that major mining experience, really just lending a hand, making sure that we approach this in a methodical and systematic way that's going to be understood and appreciated by a major mining company. Keeping a tight share structure, so 52 million shares outstanding. These days we're trading around 15 to 16 cents, $8 million market cap. So we did just announce this past Thursday a $2.8 million financing. 2.4 of that is charity flow through. So this is money that's going to go into our inaugural drill program. Right now that financing has been fully spoken for. And importantly as well, so something that Robert showed is that holdings by insiders and management. So actually that 21% is pretty much split in control between myself and John Williamson. So we've got a strong stake within the company as well. Most of the remaining shares is really in the hands of about 30 high net worth individuals. And this is just reinforcing the value of greenfield discovery. So the fact that as we're in this pre-discovery potential, looking for those first drill holes into these undrilled porphyry targets, that there's always significant reevaluation that could be a possibility with that. So this is where the project is located. So we're located in between the city of Merritt and Kamloops. If you look where we are, this is the copper producing belt of British Columbia and Canada. Highland Valley, Canada's largest open pit copper mine, is just 30 kilometers to the west. New Afton, which is one of the highest gold producing porphyries in BC, is located 30 kilometers to our north, and then Copper Mountain, another active mine, is 100 kilometers to our south. So we're in an area that is largely underexplored. We've been the ones that have defined these large-scale targets. At this point, 12 square kilometers of geochemical anomalies. up to 4,500 ppm copper, about 700 ppb gold in soil. We've put that together with high-grade outcrop mineralization that's never been drilled. Altogether, about 8 majors in this district, as well as a mid-tier producer at New Afton. Here you can see from the central portion of the project area, 332 square kilometers, the locations of New Afton, the Ajax deposit, that's 3 billion pounds of copper, 3 million ounces of gold just to our northeast, and then Highland Valley to our west. Here you'll see the 4 targets that we've outlined, so we vector in on exactly where we need to target moving forward. So with that, our Bertha, Lodi, Kirby targets, those are all drill permitted. Our first target for this first phase of drilling is going to be Bertha, and that's because of the high-grade potential. So we see a lot of potential here for a New Afton type system, the style of alteration, high-grade mineralization at surface, rock grab samples of up to 17% copper that have never been drilled, historical exploration pit that produced 30 tons of 2.14% copper that's never been drilled. So we spent this past August, we defined the first ever IP geophysical survey. You can see the location of the Bertha pit is just on the north side of this chargeability anomaly that you see in the figure on the left side. So the footprint of that chargeability is equivalent to the surface footprint of what New Afton was prior to it being mined out in the open pit in the 1970s. So about 400 by 300 meters is the main core of the system. New Afton is not large, but it packs a punch. So 2 billion pounds of copper, 2 million ounces of gold. The supergene environment that we're looking at the top at New Afton that produced 23 million tons at 1% copper and 0.6 grams per ton gold. So extremely high grade for British Columbia alkalic copper gold porphyry system. So you'll see an outline there of our planned drilling. We're looking to test the uppermost portions, nothing deeper than 200 to 300 meters depth of drilling, really define that top 200 meters of vertical depth to the potential system that we're looking at here. And in addition to that, we do have those 3 other targets. So 2 more that are permitted at Lodi and Kirby. And then we also have the sonic zone on the east side of the highway. This is developing into a very large scale porphyry system. We're seeing multi-kilometer alteration in outcrop at surface. There's a 4.5 square kilometer copper gold soil anomaly. And most recently, we actually collected surface rock grabs of up to 1.1% in outcrop. And you'll see that there's not even been soil sampling over top of that till now. So that was a new discovery we made last year. We'll be returning doing additional soil sample and mapping this fall as we move into the inaugural drill program in October on the Bertha target. So do both of those in conjunction. I do see potential here as we work on the sonic zone. We know that there's mineralization in outcrop just to the south of the soil anomaly. So there is potential here to possibly double the geochemical size of this target area at Sonic. So this one permit is pending for spring of 2026. So all of our targets, really what we've got is large-scale geochemical anomalies, soils, rock grab samples, coincident with large-scale geophysics, deep-reaching geophysics. This is the Kirby and Lodi targets. We can see they're forming a bit of a cluster porphyry system in the south. Very large geophysical targets of 1,300 by 800 meters, open beyond a kilometer depth, and coincident with our surface mineralization as well. So plenty of flexibility in terms of how we move forward. These are looking at some of our other projects, which if you guys want to jump into any of the technicals or talk about some of the other projects, feel free to come over by the table and I can jump into that with you as well. But the main focus is that Colos Copper Gold project in southern BC. We're at that early stage pre-discovery potential, moving into our first ever drill program, going after some high-grade copper at surface that's never been drilled. So we're looking forward to the results that we'll be moving towards and seeing those coming in as we go through the fall and into the new year.